Hello everyone, this is Western New York Fly Guy here to do another fly for you. It's going to be the black stonefly. As you can see in this box, I got a number of stonefly patterns here that I like to fish with for salmon and for steelhead. My favorite color is black, but you can do them in other colors, you know, brown, olive, white even. But I tend to find that the black works the best. You're going to need your black thread. You're going to need black Goose Biots. You're just going to need just a little bit of lead wire for this pattern. You're going to need a turkey feather that has been stiffened up a bit, so I use the 3M contact adhesive to stiffen it up. And you're going to need vinyl rib in medium. So we'll start out the fly here like we do every other. Palomar back a little bit, but we're not going to go all the way back. We're going to go back up to the front of the fly to tie in a couple of these Goose Biots. Now you want to oppose the curvatures of the Goose Biots so that they flare out the legs. These are meant to be legs and you want them to flare out, so when you put them on, you want to have them opposing just like that. Now you just tie them in. I do one loose wrap, and then I will do a tight wrap. They're a little bit finicky to work with, but once you get them tied in, they flare out pretty good. I like using Goose Biots for a number of different things. So once you got those tied in, nip them off the tag end. You can nip off your tag end for your thread at this step too. Alright, so now you're going to wrap it back all the way to where it starts to bend like we usually do on flies. And what you're going to do is you're going to take another couple of Goose Biots here. You flex them forward just like that and take a couple at a time, rip them off. And the same thing with these too. You want them to be splayed out from each other. Just like that. And you want to tie these on as well. And again, just do one loose wrap and cinch it down. You want to make the front legs and the back legs similar lengths just to keep the symmetry. I do that because I like having it nice and symmetrical. So the next step we've got here is going to be tying in your vinyl rib. And on vinyl rib you've got a flat side and a round side. You might not be able to see it here, but there's the round side and there's the flat side. Now you want to tie the flat side down. So you tie that in good and tight. Oop, just broke my thread. That happens sometimes, especially when you're using a thin thread like I am right now. In these situations I will use a hackle pliers to keep this from unraveling itself. I'll just nip the hackle pliers right on, just like this, to keep that nice and tight while I thread my bobbin through again. Alright, so I'll tie this back again, being sure not to pull too hard. Alright, now I can nip these off. Alright, so now after you tie your vinyl rib in, you're going to make a nice big dubbing loop. And then you're going to tie your dubbing loop in just like that. You'll be able to see here that the dubbing loop is a pretty big loop. And that is so you can put a lot of dubbing in for the fly. You got quite a bit to do. So to keep that dubbing loop nice and tight, I'll put my dubbing twister on it, but leave it alone for just a minute. You can wrap your thread a little bit further forward, maybe build it up a little bit in front of the vinyl rib. But now I'm going to take the little bit of lead wire I have and wrap it right in the center of the hook. Stoneflies tend to be fished right on the bottom because that's where you're going to find a stonefly, and a fish is just like to suck up the stoneflies right off the bottom. So you put just a little bit in, wrap it back just to tie it down just a little bit. You don't need to tie it down too much. The dubbing will cover it for the most part. You'll need quite a bit of dubbing here, so take a nice big clump of dubbing and put it right on your dubbing, half of your dubbing loop. You want to spread it out nice and evenly along the loop. Sometimes I don't get quite enough. This time I did not get enough, so I just take a little bit more here. Just a little bit more, and put that on the dubbing loop as well. You twist it right on. Alright, now you twist your dubbing in there. I gotta get that nice and tight down on there. Alright, so now we'll wrap this forward to build the body up. I like to build it up nice and big. I might even need to tie a bit more dubbing on, and I will. So sometimes I run out, but that's just about where I wanted to run out this time. It's an okay spot to run out at. So what you do now is you'll take your vinyl wrap and make sure you got that round side up, and you're going to wrap it right around your dubbing body here and tie it off at the front. Tie it in good, nice and even. So now what we're going to do is we're going to take our piece of turkey feather here and we're going to tie it in right on top. Now you want to make sure that it curves around the shank of the hook, not making any creases in the actual turkey itself. And you're going to come and cut it at an angle towards the middle. And I'll show you here. You can see how it's long on the outside here and short in the middle at a nice angle out there and a nice angle out that way. And you want to tie it like that for every time you do one of these turkey biots or turkey feathers in here. So I'm going to do another dubbing loop because I ran out of dubbing the first time. Wrap it forward a little bit. Need some more. So we're going to twist it right on here, just like we did before. And we'll get our dubbing twister, twist it up. And then we'll do a little bit, we'll usually only do 1 or 2 wraps per side, but now that we've got that, we're going to take our turkey feather again and tie in another segment. Now remember, you want it to wrap around the shank nice and evenly. But now you want to cut this the same length as the other one, and now that it's farther forward on the shank, you'll get this tapering effect. And we'll come forward again with our dubbing twister here. Tie it in a little bit. And finally, we're going to come in the last time with our turkey feather. Tie one more segment in. And again, cut it at those nice angles. And then wrap a nice head of dubbing there. To finish it off, we're just going to do a whip finish, and we'll be done. And that's a pretty simple stonefly to tie. I mean, it doesn't take that long. It took me a little longer to do the instruction here, but it's a nice, easy stonefly pattern to tie, and it catches a lot of fish. Let me tell you, it doesn't matter if it's wild trout, salmon, steelhead. Doesn't matter. It catches me a lot of fish. This is one of my absolute favorite patterns to fish for any species. You can also take your dubbing brush here and brush some of those fibers out from the base to give it a little bit more of a profile. But let me know below how you like this video, if this was helpful when you're tying flies. Let me know if you tie it and you catch fish on it. I'm always eager to hear from you guys about what's been working and what's not. So until the next time, guys, tight lines.